Hello everyone. It's been raining for approximately 6 days, like non-stop. There is a hurricane happening outside. I don't know what's happening in the UK, but this weather is terrible. In order to make myself feel marginally better about the hurricane and horrible conditions outside, I'm going to make myself something that I can wear maybe in that weather. We are going to be making a trench coat today. So I'm in the market for a trench coat, but more like fashion-y. You get my drift? Something that I could probably wear in the rain, but I'll probably wear it with an umbrella. Yeah, I have a lot of trench coat patterns, but I've already decided on one because I talked about this maybe last year when I bought the pattern and I still haven't made it yet. So we are going to be making this pattern, which is the Knowme 2070. Absolutely love this. It is by an influencer, a sewing influencer called J'adore, and she does some really, really good patterns. And since she's joined KnowMe Patterns, there's been some great stuff coming out. So this is something I have absolutely been wanting to make for a while, and now we're actually going to do it. I'm an actual idiot. So I've been cutting out the pattern pieces for the trench coat, and as you can see, there is a kids version and there is a adults version. Normally there are two size ranges. There's like the larger size ranges and there's the smaller size ranges. I got the smaller size ranges, but I thought that it was the smaller size ranges for both the adult and the kids pattern in here. What I actually got was the kids size range and not the adult size range. Now, I'm not sure if it's gonna work anymore, but looking at the sizes, there's size 7, 8, 10, 12, and 14. And if I look at the size 14, which is the largest, my measurements are off by maybe like three centimeters, probably on all of the measurements. But if I look at the finished measurements of the coat, they're actually not that bad. So I might be considering making the largest kid size, and it's a more slim fitting jacket, but I don't know if that's being too cheeky. Well, it looks like I might be able to make the largest kid size and that will fit. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is the length of the arm, so I might have to extend the arm a little bit and the finished length. So this might actually work out. Wow, wow. So not an incredible mistake. I guess we're going to carry on cutting out and we'll see what happens. Let's talk fabric. We have 3 choices. These are fabrics that I picked up last time I was in Paris. I got them from one of the remnant stores, so they each are about 3 meters. They are kind of like a gabardine type fabric, but these 2 are polyester and this one is a cotton gabardine. These are the 3 colors. This one is kind of like a sage, this one's more of a khaki, and then you've got like your standard like camely sand color. I also have this leather, which I got from Meissen Fabrics. It's kind of like hair at the front and kind of suede underneath. I thought that with these cuffs that are here or the epaulettes on the shoulder, that would be something quite cool. And I think it goes with all 3 of them. And animal print is back in, so I've been waiting to use this again. So I've also been playing around on Procreate to have a look and see what it will look like. So this is, if I go with the first like sage green color, I actually really like this. Now, if we change to the khaki, this is what your standard trench coat will look like, which is great, of course, but I feel like we can make it a little bit snazzy. Then I thought maybe we can do some color blocking, something like that, which I think is quite cool if I do it that way. I then also looked at it the other way, which is also pretty interesting. I also thought, why don't we try a full half and half look? I mean, look at that. That's pretty cool. And then I also tried the half and half look from the other way. So those are my options. There's like a few different ones, but it's really hard to decide. Part of me kind of just wants to go for the green with the leopard skin because I think, at least in terms of wearability, I could wear it to a lot more things. But if I do go for just this and this together, I can still make a color block version with the khaki and the sand. So I think for this video, we're gonna make this first one. So not for this video, maybe we'll make another one, but the first one, I think, just so I can have the wearability, we're gonna go for the green. So I've pinned the paper pieces together because I am not sure how this is gonna fit. The finished measurements say that this is gonna fit and it should be fine, but we will see. So I've pinned the front piece, the back piece without the linings. I've also added the front flap and the back flap just for funsies. So I'm going to put on that half. What I'm looking for is for the back to be dead center or even over a little bit, and the front to the center line to be in the center and the other bit to flap over, so I know that when I tie it together, we've got space. All right, let's try it on. Okay, so here we go. I'm hoping this fits. It's actually not looking that bad at all. As you can see here, this flips over. We're going to have another one. The center line is indeed in the center, this line going down here. That works. I've got plenty of space in the arm, doesn't feel too large. And looking at the back, where the back flap is, if I just move it to where it's supposed to be, it definitely feels like it's over the center. So I'm quite happy with that. So I think we're just gonna go ahead with it. Obviously, when I actually start doing the sewing, when it comes to these big pieces, I might baste it together, try it on, double, triple, quadruple check. And then if we need to take in, take out, that's when we can do it then. But this initial paper fit, even though it's the kid's size, it does not feel restrictive in any way, especially over my boobs. So I'm very, very happy with that. So let us cut it out.
As I'm working on this trench coat, I've been thinking about how much my creative journey has evolved over the years. Sewing has been a part of my life for over a decade, but this past year, I focused on refining my techniques and exploring new hobbies like shoemaking, and none of this growth would have been possible without tools like Skillshare, who are sponsoring today's video. As you probably already know, Skillshare is an incredible online learning community for creators like us. They offer thousands of classes tailored to makers, designers, and hobbyists, covering everything from advanced sewing techniques to pattern making, leather work, and even filmmaking. It's designed to grow with you, whether you're just starting out or have years of experience. I'm currently taking a class called Learning Digital Fashion with Clo 3D by Digital Fashion School. It's all about pattern making using 3D modeling, and it's been such a fascinating way to explore the future of design. Learning how to create digital patterns and visualizations is giving me a whole new perspective on what's possible for my projects. So if you're ready to reflect on your creative growth or try something new, Skillshare is the perfect place to start. And here's a little bonus. The first 500 people to use the link in my description will get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. So, what will you create next?
Okay, it is the next day and we are about to get started. Look at the wonderful mess I left on my table, but everything has been cut out, interfaced, and we are ready to start putting it together. So this is going to be the lining. I completely forgot I had this, and I had just enough to line this coat. I think it's actually going to look really cool together, especially with this that's going to be on the cuffs. The pattern comes with a QR code, so I've got the video up ready to go. I'm just going to do a quick read of the instructions and then we are going to get started. I'm like 5 minutes into my project and I've already ruined it. I am so annoyed. This iron, I'm getting a new one, I think, because I was ironing, I'm doing my welt pocket. I'm just trying to like get that so that it folds onto the inside. This is a polyester. I said that from the beginning, but I really like the color, and it's also a really good base for me to be able to waterproof this, because I've got some waterproofing spray, which is what I was going to spray on this afterwards. So the polyester was fine. And I've melted it. Bloody melted it. So I was using this on the wool setting because that was enough. I did some testing and it was enough to give me creases and whatever. So I was using the wool setting. The thing is, when I picked this up to use it, my fingers must have slipped and put it all the way to the linen setting. So I thought it was on wool because it was on, and I started ironing and it'd been not even 2 seconds and just burnt right through it. And I have no more of this fabric in this color, and I've just started. I'm very annoyed because how can I salvage this? How can I salvage this? I don't know. I've got to figure it out, but I'm so annoyed. I've literally been working on this for like an hour into the project, and I've killed it already. Ugh. Okay, so I've thought long and hard about how we are going to fix this, and I've decided I'm going to cut this out and stitch another piece in. This dot here and this dot here is where this pocket, once I finished ironing it, is going to be laying like that, and then your hand will go in this bit. So the line, if I have the stitch line underneath here, that will be covered because it's the entrance to the pocket. The only stitch lines you'll see is here and here, and what I can do is, as long as the seam is on the inside, I can do maybe a nice top stitch here, and then on the other side of the coat, we just do another top stitch here and here so that it looks the same, and it just looks more like a design feature coming out from the pockets than anything else. I think that's the best bet, that it looks the same. It's not too crazy. So yeah. Ooh, got me there for a moment. I thought I was going to have to scrap the whole project. Is what it's looking like so far. I've stitched it in here in a square, and you can see the seam is there, so that is going to cover it. There is some creasing here and here. That's mostly probably just me putting the welt pocket in. I'm not too bothered about that though, for 2 reasons. This bit here is where the ties are going to go in, and that's where the waist belt will be. And this is the pocket, which is never a flat area. It's always pretty creased, especially if you actually use your pockets, as I do. So this area here is going to be cinched in at the waist and creased up. You already cannot notice what's going on there. So the creasing I don't love, but I don't care. But after that little kerfuffle, everything seems to be going pretty smoothly. So I'm trying to think up of a solution to get rid of these lines. Obviously I've saved it, but I don't like the lines. And we did a bit of experimentation. First of all, I looked at a few different quilting stitches, but honestly don't really love them. Although it did look marginally better when I used interfacing. And then I thought, well, I am going to be using this on the cuffs. So why not use a little bit of this and go across these lines? So I did a little experiment, and you can see here that it stitches really, really well, although it does get a bit hairy, so I'm going to have to lint this, but it stitches together really, really well. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So on the one that doesn't have it, I've already made a strip that goes into the pocket. And honestly, it's a bit out there, but I think once it's on both sides and I've got the cuffs on the arms, I think it's going to look okay. So that is my solution. That's one side, that's the pocket that will go in. And we're going to do a strip there and a strip there so it matches. And then we can go ahead and put the back and the fronts together, because that's the next step. So I kind of have to do it now before I join everything together. I've just put the shoulder and the side seams together, so now we can try it on and see if it actually fits. Now, we did a paper fit and we checked the finished measurements and we determined that the largest kid size was gonna fit. This is where we actually found out if it's actually gonna fit. So hold on one second while I put this on. Well, it looks like it fits. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. These are my little pocket thingy-majiggies. I actually think it looks pretty nice. As you can see, wouldn't even know that I had to patch a whole piece on this side. You wouldn't even know. I couldn't even remember which side was the new side. So I'm actually quite happy how that looks. I'll show you a little close up. So we've got this pocket here, this pocket here, looking pretty good. And as you can see, you see how it's gonna lay. And the length is still pretty long, but I actually really like it. So I'm just gonna like wrap it real quick, just so we can see with the buttons done. Oh, this is gonna be nice. Oh, guys, I'm so happy. Honestly, it was touch and go there for a moment, but I think we're going to have something quite nice. So we've got some epaulettes that we need to put in, which is why I've got these little tags here. They're going to flatten over the epaulettes. And then obviously the sleeve is going to go in. We've got a leopard skin lining. Ah, I'm excited. All right, let's carry on. All right, so we need to put the little straps in the side so it can hold the belt, and then we're going to work on the sleeve. Oh, okay, all right, I'm very happy. Let's carry on. As you can see, we have sleeves, and I'm very happy that I made the adjustments that I needed to. I added an extra inch in length to the sleeves because obviously this is the largest children's size that we're making. Don't forget that. So everything's going to be slightly smaller than maybe an adult size arm, and I've got particularly long arms, but when I kind of measured them, I figured I'd only need an inch or so. I should have gone with an inch and a half, but as it currently stands, it's great, but this still needs to be hemmed and added to the lining. So I suspect that I'll have to make the hemming allowance smaller, or this will eat up into it and it'll be all the way round by my wrists. But I'm very happy with how it's looking. The next things in the instructions are to put on the sleeve cuffs and to put on the epaulettes on the shoulders. And then after we've done that, I think that's all the top and outside things, then we work on the inside. We work on the upper collar, we work on the facing, we add it to the lining, and then we make the belt. And then we are done. But so far, I think it's actually looking pretty good. I'm seeing the vision. I'm liking the vision. I'm excited to wear the vision in Portugal next week. That's right, I'm going to Portugal next week. I'm not rushing to finish it for next week, but I think I'll be done in like 2 or 3 days, tops if I procrastinate. So yeah, stay tuned for my photos of me wearing this in Portugal. Now we're going to go ahead and do the epaulettes and the sleeve cuffs. So I completely forgot that I need to choose buttons, and I forgot. I mean, how can I forget? It's a trench coat and I still forgot I need buttons. I actually need 13 of them. So I quite like these buttons. They feel very trench coaty. I have 3 of these. And I have a skirt here, which I made a little while ago. And this has like 8 more. So I think we might be able to get away with using this. I also have a dress that doesn't fit me. It's like 3 sizes too big now. So I might also take the buttons off that and I'll have more than enough for this coat. So I think that's what we're gonna go with. As you can see, they kind of like blend in with the sleeve cuffs. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is already looking like a jacket, but in order to make it be a proper trench coat, it needs to be lined and all of this stuff needs to be covered. So that's what these pieces are. And I just wanted to show you how nice it is with my leopard print lining, I mean, I actually think that's really nice together. I think that looks really, really nice. Different kind of leopard print, but a little bit of flash on the inside, I think will be pretty good. So I've done the two facings and the front lining pieces, which will go like this. And then these two here are the back lining pieces, which I'm going to join together. And then there is a vent at the back, so we need to make sure that this fits into the vent. And then I guess after that, after we've put in the lining, we've got the arm bits to put in, and then it's buttons and finishing. And then I'm going to wear it outside. We are getting along nicely. The lining is complete, and this looks like a very fancy dressing gown. I quite like it. I might in the future look for a cozy leopard print and make myself a really nice dressing gown, especially because I am so cold like all the time. This is the lining done, and now we're going to add it to this baby. Oh, I'm so excited. We are so close. We are so close. Right, so we have added the lining, I've sewn the vents, and I'm about to close the bottom up on both sides. When that's done, because the lining is shorter, it will pull this up so that it will kind of do that inside the jacket. So when you do it, turn it right sides out, there'll be a line of green, and then you'll see the lining. So it looks very nice and professional. The coat is almost finished, so this is what it's looking like so far. I'm a little bit concerned about the sleeve. I only added 1 inch, but on further inspection I should have probably added 2, just to give me some extra space, because now that I've put the lining in and I've pulled it up a little bit, it is right on my wrist, which isn't so bad. To be fair, the way that I wear trench coats, I tend to bunch them up like that anyway, but of course as it gets colder or wet, we're going to want to pull that down. And I mean, if it covers my watch then it's fine, but it's a stretch. I also, on closer inspection, I guess because it's the child size, everything is slightly smaller. What I didn't think to make longer were the sleeve cuffs, because obviously it's for a child's wrist and mine are a little bit bigger. So even though it fits and everything, I think I would have liked to have maybe 1 inch longer for this so it wouldn't feel so tight. Other than that, I like the way that the coat is. I like that because obviously it's a smaller coat, it's a little bit more slimline, which gives me like a kind of the silhouette that I'm looking for. I think if I'd gone for the smallest adult size, it would definitely be a lot longer. The shoulders would probably be bigger, and I might be able to go for like a slightly oversized look. But honestly, how I'm wearing it now, I really like it. So those are my thoughts on this pattern. What do we have left to do? I have pinned the bottom. It has been unhemmed. I did hem it on the machine. Did not like how it looked at all. So I unpicked it, I've repinned it, and I'm going to sew it in like a little whip stitch so it's loosely in, because honestly I think it looks a lot nicer like that. So I'll be doing that tonight, and then we have 3 more steps and we're finished. So step number 1, make the belt. Step number 2, make the buttonholes. Step number 3, put on the buttons, and we're all finished. So yeah, I'm not going to do all of that tonight because it's like 9 o'clock and I'd like to get to bed at a reasonable time, but we are going to do the hemming now. So tomorrow, when we're nice and fresh, we'll do the buttons and the buttonholes, and then off to Portugal. Actually, I'm going to Portugal in like 3-4 days. So I've got plenty of time, but I do have some other things I want to do before we get there. So let's try and get this finished today, tomorrow. It is time for the dreaded buttonholes. I'm scared. So this is the coat, very much ready. Only one more step to go, which is to do a top stitch around the edge of this whole coat, and then we're done. So final thoughts. What do I think about this coat? I actually really like it. Despite the fact that I didn't have the right size, I still made it work. And even though the arms could be a little bit longer, I think I can still get a lot of wear out of this. So I'm not too upset about the whole thing. What would I have done differently? Many things. First of all, probably would have bought the adult version and maybe made the smallest of adult sizes, because it would have been slightly larger. Everything kind of made to fit an adult body and not a large child. So there is that. But because I didn't, and I'm probably going to make another one with the same pattern that I'm using now, I will make the arms longer by 2 inches instead of 1. I'd probably make the cuffs longer as well because it feels a bit smaller. And I might even just kind of elongate the bodice a little bit. I feel like where this sits and where my chest is, obviously this is made for someone who probably doesn't have an adult woman's chest. So bearing that in mind, I might kind of elongate the bodice just a little bit. But other than that, everything else is pretty fine. So quite excited to make a second one with my slash down the middle. I will not be filming that one, I'm afraid. If you're following me on Instagram, I will probably show you in my stories. I like to do little sew-alongs. And if you're not following me on Instagram, what are you doing, man? Follow me on Instagram. You can see me doing my day-to-day sewing more than kind of what you get here, because I'm often also asking for help because there's always a problem. There is always a problem. So that's it from me here. I'm gonna go, but I will see you guys in Portugal, and I'll also see you guys in the next video. Bye.